In today's video, we're going to talk about how judgments can be making you sick. As an intuitive healer, I look at people's energies and can see exactly what judgment is doing to the body. And I want to give you some insights into how holding on to judgments is actually hurting you more than you may realize. It's actually blocking you from healing. Judgments are also causing inflammation and pain in the body. So let's break this down here. A judgment, what we're identifying as a judgment, is a locked in viewpoint, and it entangles with you. It entangles your energy with something else, or it entangles your energy with a thought and idea. And it obscures the ability to discern. So what judgments do is they just simplify and they create rigidity in your experience. And this actually makes for imbalance in the body. Now, there are many judgments, so many judgments around emotional expression specifically, such as anger is bad, or judgments around freedom, what it means to be free, being in a body, being in relationships, a lot of self-judgment about I'm not a nice person, or I'm ugly, or I'm not worthy, or judgment on others. He always does this. He never listens to me, right? These are all judgments. We can go on and on and on with examples. Now, how to identify the judgment is through your emotional triggers. And I want you to understand that the intensity of emotional triggers is a reflection of the amount of judgment you are holding. So when you get really pissed off, or you feel like this just surge of emotion in you when someone says something, when you see something, it's coming from a judgment. Now, before you get into it with me and say, but I am right for having these judgments. This is a thing, we get very righteous about our judgments, right? It's like, of course, I would judge that as wrong, or I would judge that as not okay, because this and that. I'm not going to argue with you in that sense of we can see things that are not okay, see things that we do not like. But there's a very big difference in the energy of judgment versus discernment. And I really want you to understand that, because if you can get that we can still be discerning, and discerning meaning observation and evaluation. When we are observing something and evaluating how we would like to interact with it, there is so much less entanglement and less emotional convolution with it. And so that's really important to understand, that the judgment energy I'm talking about is dense. And so many people have this identification also of being a judging person. Even in the personality test, there's, the judger. The Myers-Briggs, I think it is, has the judger in it, right? So people step into that identification and don't know who they would be without it. And it locks you into place when you see that as the only reality. And why that's really important is because these judgments are very intense with the emotion. And when you have these intense emotions with your judgments, they literally create energy blockages. And these energy blockages in your body, they hold the pattern of the judgment to keep it repeating and validating, so that this judgment, by law of attraction, is going to bring more of that experience into your reality so that you get to notice it and feel it. And if it's, say, a judgment about something you've been diagnosed with, or a judgment about a health issue or a disease you have or something, and you judge it as this is just the way it is, or this is just something I have to live with, that keeps it in a loop, so that it actually makes it very difficult to see progress in healing. So one of the very first steps I look at with people is to discern, are the judgments something you're ready to let go of? Because you have to be ready. If you're not ready, then you don't want to go through this process. It's not your time. but eventually life will probably pull you in a direction where you realize you need to look at the judgments. So I'm bringing this up now so that you could start to notice, wow, maybe these judgments I'm having are actually making it more difficult for me to be in my body. That's why I'm having these pains or this anxiety or this tension headache. And yeah, we can correlate it to all kinds of physiology as well. But at the root, if you can go to the judgments that you're having and start to clean those up, you'll unlock so much more potential for yourself. And really, judgments, they lock in karma. And karma is beliefs or judgments drawing experiences to you. So you get locked in this loop of karma. And that's why they get validated and you get to go, see, I told you, I judged that he was not trustworthy. And look, he's not trustworthy. But people don't see the energy pattern behind it. For those who are sensitive and can see that, you can actually feel how the judgment locks that reality potential into place and starts to draw it in at a higher speed. So what do we want to do about that? We want to release the judgments. And the very first step to doing that is simply feeling. Being in our bodies and feeling what sensations, what's going on, what movement is happening in your body, where do you feel tight? That is the first step. I'll give you just a really quick tip when you're in it and you're feeling a trigger and you're just like, okay, how can I get into observation about this judgment? I feel so certain about it and it's like, it feels very solid and real. I would really recommend pattern interrupting it with the 2-breath sigh. And this is where you breathe in through your nose fully and completely. When you're filled up, you breathe in just a little bit more, an extra sip. And then as you exhale, you let it out with a nice sigh. Make a noise, make a vocalized noise, and that moves the energy. And then practices for self-forgiveness, just allowing yourself to forgive yourself for even having the judgments. It's okay. It's all right. We all have judgments. I have judgments. I notice them all the time. But I have a process and a practice for discerning where it's coming from and how to release it. Another great practice is Ho'oponopono. I teach this in my Boost Your Brilliance course and how to do the Ho'oponopono for releasing on yourself and releasing judgments on yourself and judgments towards others and situations. And I also recommend that you loosen and release these judgments with the free healing heart meditation that I have. There's a link in the description. You can check it out, download it for free, and then just start acknowledging these judgments that limit your potential and notice the feelings and sensations in your body. This meditation has helped hundreds of other people, and I know it will help you too, so that you can move through the density and release. All right, thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.